are fans of wrestling, and we are the degenerates who want to talk about it. Welcome to the second episode of Kicking Out at 2 with Michael and Tori. I am Michael, and as always, with me is Tori. Tori, how are you?
I'm good. That was solid. I like it.
Yeah. I figured
I like
it was
it.
good. It was
I'm
good. It
here
was
for
good.
it.
Figured, Attitude Era is probably both of our jam for the most part, because it was when we were both crazy. So Degenerate seems about right. I feel like that, and just who we
Yeah,
are as degenerates is probably a good idea.
that's fair. I'll
Uh,
give you that.
so today we are going to talk about Survivor Series WarGames, which I do.
Just wasn't the same without him, and
It
I love that
wasn't.
Triple H tweeted it.
Yeah.
I love that he tweeted it.
If they could have worked out anything, just for him to walk out on the stage at the opening of the show, say WarGames and walk off, I would have been fine.
That place would have blown up.
Yeah, it would have been good.
That would have been the biggest pop of the night.
So it started off really big, women's war game match, which I kind of figured that would be the start of the night. During the match, just before we talk about what happened in the match, I was curious if they should have done this one last because it had all the bells and whistles, but the story of the bloodline kind of supersedes that.
Yeah, the story does. We would be remiss to not mention that we were all graced with Rhea Ripley's ass.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah,
and then they're doing pull-ups in the cage again.
Yeah.
Like she did it in what was it, the Elimination Chamber or something?
Yep.
She was doing pull-ups, and I'm like, this woman is a freak athlete.
So them coming out, just a couple of things. First of all, Becky was the first one out, which I think was the right call. It's Bianca's team, but
it was Becky's show.
Yeah, it was Becky's show. I think that was good. Nikki Cross getting on top of the cage.
She's so great.
just being crazy.
I love crazy Nikki Cross.
I did find it weird. So, like, the last few Raws, she's had a completely different gear. And this one was almost like her superhero gear toned down. So
I thought this was more reminiscent of her old gear.
Yeah, no,
it's just a longer jacket.
It was I was talking about the underneath the jacket. Once she took the jacket off, it was very much the singlet.
Yeah, I wasn't butterfly. A big fan of it. I wasn't a huge fan of it, but I don't know if there was a reason she went with that. I wasn't a huge fan.
I don't know.
I thought it didn't. The fact that it had like the white lining around like her crotch thighs area, I was like, that's not a good look there, boo boo. What do you know?
But who knows? Maybe there's a reason for it. Maybe we're gonna do something with supervillain versus superhero, or I don't know. She did post that Twitter picture and video of her dropping it.
Huh? Oh yeah.
Dropping that in the trash and walking away.
She just posted a picture. I think it was last night of the old superhero gimmick face on the side of one of the semi trailers.
Oh.
And she's like, I never noticed this before. And I'm like, baby girl, that's been there for a minute. How did you not notice this?
Yeah, it's big, and you got a blue mask on your face.
Right.
So the first match of the night, obviously the women's war game match. We had Bianca Belair, Becky Lynch, Asuka, Alexa Bliss, and Mia Yim, which is back to Mia Yim, by the way. That happened very quickly. Versus Bayley, Dakota Kai, Io Sky, Nikki Cross, and Rhea Ripley. Belair and Kai started the match out, which I thought was a nice touch. Belair saying pretty much throughout this, like, you guys are coming with me, I'm asking you to come with me. Like, her leading the charge seemed like the right spot for her. And then having Captain Kai come back for another, was it her fourth, I think is what they said, war game match, being the first one out there. Absolutely awesome.
Most people don't want to do one. She's done 4.
Yeah.
Her outfit was atrocious. Those chaps were awful. Like Sean called, said, give them back, bitch. Those were so bad.
I think they would have been fine, but it was something about like the way when like she bend or when she like move her legs, it would puff out
around her neck.
Yeah, it was weird.
Take them if she'd have worn them like over something and take them off when she got to the ring. Okay, cool. I have to say, Bianca Belair is in stupid good shape.
Absolutely.
I am amazed by everything I see involving this woman. She has done a great job since she started in NXT.
Yeah.
She has evolved that same character She works her tail off. She's just gotten better every time she's in the ring.
Absolutely.
I'm a big fan.
So those two started out. Nothing really spectacular about them starting the match. Kind of eased into it, which is fine. So the heels had the advantage on this one, and so Sky comes out to join her tag partner, and does some good flips, some good attacks, but then they had that awkward spot in the corner, which that's
what happened?
nitpicky
I
things.
missed it.
So it looks she was holding her hand after doing the spot, so she was trying to do the handstand into the double knees to end their little sequence, and it looked like this hand kept slipping, and so she kept trying to get up there and just couldn't get
that same corner. Everybody was slipping on.
Yeah, so could have been that, could have been her hand, because like I said, after that she was kind of doing this with her hand, so maybe she nicked it or something on the way up there.
5 minutes for the first two I was good with. I think after that, the 3 minutes is almost too long. It slows down the match.
It does, but I think, which we'll get into this later with the men's match, it's one or the other. It's either too long or it's not enough. Because there's some cases where it's like, I think they could have told more story in the 3 minutes, but it was a really short period. And then there's some where it's like we're a minute in, and I'm like, we really could have them come out now.
Right.
So
I would like the women's match. It went on, and as it progressed, Nikki brought in the plunder, which it's Nikki. I love Crazy Nikki Cross. I'm here for this. I'm here for every bit of this.
Yep.
Like, come on, girl, let's go. I love this Nikki Cross.
Before Nikki came out, though, let's talk about Asuka came out. Immediately exchanging strikes with Sky. They keep teasing this match, and I'm ready for it.
I need this match.
When
match
they get in there,
fantastic.
Which to me, star of the night, Michael Cole. This is not the last time we'll talk about him. He referenced their history in Japan, very much talking about their partnership, their friendship, of what they used to have, leading to where we are now. And Belair exhibiting amazing strength when she pressed up Kai and just yanked her across the cage. She does that a couple of times to a couple of people in the match, but this is the first time she just gorilla press and just tossed her straight into it, almost
because her strength is ridiculous.
Yeah. And so then Cross comes out to even it, immediately grabbing trash can lids, kendo sticks, anything she could grab and throwing it in there.
I'm here for it. I personally feel like these almost need to be Monsters Ball type matches. Just hang the plunder around the cage. Like, just hang it up there. Let's go.
Let's not do it as janky as TNA did, though.
Okay, well, we're not going to do that. I mean, if we're going to do that, we're going to bring
up there with carabiners and stuff.
AEW already took care of that problem.
Yep. And so she comes out. She throws all that stuff in there. We got Alexa Bliss coming out next. Cross grabbed some of the kendo sticks, was laying people out, but Belair caught one and then snapped that crap in half.
Again.
Yeah, just intense strength.
I love that they referenced Nikki and Alexa, and I'm sure we'll get to that point, but the whole, did you think I forgot?
Well, no, and that's definitely part of this. So, like, when she comes in, they get in that little bit of a tussle, and she's just yelling, "Do you think I forgot?" over and over again in that crazy Nikki voice.
So good. Like, that is, we are finally getting long-term storytelling.
Yeah.
And we're mentioning things that happened, because that happened, and that whole thing happened, and then it just kind of disappeared.
Well, and to me, it would be a good precursor, because they've got the Bray type things that are happening during her promos and all that stuff. This would be a good precursor to that, because that's why she left, was Bray.
Yeah.
So she gets into this thing with Nikki again, that becomes a thing again, and then Bray starts pulling at her again.
I would almost like, if that happens with Crazy Nikki, to go too.
Yeah, have them both go.
It would fit.
It would fit.
With her playing Crazy Nikki, it would fit perfectly.
Yep.
Yes, y'all. I'm just gonna say I'm distracted because I'm watching soccer.
That's fine. So another of my favorite spots of the match, though, is so everybody starts going at it. Cross climbs to the top of the cage, sits in the corner, and just watches.
And just is hanging out.
Yeah.
They've got the man advantage, and they're doing nothing with it because she's just up there kicking it.
Yep. And then finally everybody gets together. You see the spot kind of coming, but still a beautiful spot. She does crossbody off the
Yes.
top, lands on everybody, and then she just sits there looking crazy and backs up against the rope and is just elated at what she's done to everybody
She's
else.
she is one of the best characters
Yeah.
that keeps her character going from start to finish when the camera's on.
Yep.
Like
Uh,
she doesn't ever stop that.
no, she's really good about that. Except for her random posts of her looking nice backstage. Like just randomly, she's like, "Hey, look, I look good." She's back to
This
being
drink,
crazy.
while we are not sponsored by them, is from QT.
Yep. Uh, my God. No, that's
But
Sonic. He's
no,
Sonic.
she
That's
does,
right.
and she posts the backstage pictures like we were talking about. She posted the picture of the semi trailer with
Yeah,
her picture on it, saying, "I never even noticed this," and I'm like,
it's massive.
"You're not really." She doesn't. She apparently does not care about kayfabe. She's done. She's
Yeah.
like, "I'm not doing this when I'm not on camera. That's exhausting."
Yep. So then a few minutes later, Bailey comes out, pulls out 3 ladders and a couple of tables. Again, just and this is about when I'm starting to wonder that it's like, how are the men gonna top the fact that everybody's bringing in just random crap? Because everybody's bringing in some stuff to do.
I'm waiting for Tommy Dreamer to roll out the
Yeah.
grocery cart with everything in it.
Yep.
Okay, like that's where we were headed.
Absolutely. Um, so she pulls all that stuff in there. A nice little spot with all of damage control going after Belair. And they
Yeah.
prop the table up and push her in between the 2 rings and the cage and the
Yes.
table, just
Yes.
trapping her there. And it was a really nice little spot.
Yes.
Um,
There's another spot I want to get to, but we'll get to in a minute.
yeah. So then that happens. They got her set there. Ripley and Lynch were the 2 final members in. God,
Rhea comes in and just starts wrecking people.
yeah, when Rhea comes in, she's just wrecking people. The only thing that really stopped her is Asuka did the mist, which was
I thought
beautiful.
that was after Becky had come in.
It was after Becky
Okay.
came in.
So, did you catch in the camera where they had Becky stomping on somebody in the corner? What was happening between the 2 rings behind her? Io and Bailey had, I think it was Bianca it was Mia stretched out between the 2 rings, and Dakota Kai hits a double knee drop onto her.
Oh wow! No, I missed that.
It was a great spot, but because of because Becky was in the front part of the frame, and so it was happening kind of over here, and it was a perfect move that didn't get near the camera angle it should have because they were focused on Becky in the corner. I think it was Becky and Rhea in the corner, or Nikki. I don't remember. But it was a great spot that didn't get near the love it should have.
So after the mist happened, lots of mayhem. Nothing really like spot out that comes up. But Rhea ends up recovering, laying everybody to waste. The only thing that stopped her was Mia Yim putting her in a sleeper, which then she immediately rhinoceros ran into a ladder, broke it in half using Mia, which was a beautiful spot.
Yes. Because Mia crazy too. She don't care.
Yeah. Michin, you know?
I was mildly surprised. I will kind of backtrack a little. I'm a little surprised they brought Mia back. I figured she would end up in AEW with Keith Lee.
Yeah.
I was a little surprised that she came back without him.
Yeah.
I don't blame her because Triple H loved her when she was in NXT, and she got a ton of love and TV time when she was there. So I don't blame her.
Well, and I think it was a good choice. I mean, when you're talking about trying to put someone with the club and having it be someone that they're used to,
and it's somebody they have a history with.
Yeah, they have a little bit of a history with.
I get it. I was just kind of surprised by it.
Apparently, I want to say it was Fightful had posted that there was an interview with Mia who said that Tripp had a lot to do with that. Her conversation with Triple H had a lot to do with her saying, "All right, I'll come back and do it here instead."
That was basically that's been the thing with everybody is like I talked to Hunter.
Yeah.
I talked to Triple H. I talked to him, and what he said made sense because he's basically turning Raw and SmackDown into what NXT was, and we're all better for it.
That's right. Well, and not losing the main roster side of it either, because I think
No,
that's what
not at
everybody's
all.
concerned was, is that, well, he's going to bring up his new kids and his toys, and then we're going to forget everything else. No, we've still got the Brocks and the Bobby Lashley's, like we still got that stuff going on. It's just with that now we're also doing this.
Yeah, I agree.
Um,
Yeah, it's been very much. I have been. I knew when he took over things would get better. I don't know that I quite understood the level of getting better that it would be.
mhm.
I've just been super happy with presentation, storylines overall. Some of them I'm kind of question things, but I'm starting to see the don't question it right now.
Yep.
Let it play out.
Give it benefit of the doubt.
Yeah, and definitely I'm going to give him much more benefit of the doubt than I would have ever given Vince.
Yep, and later when we talk about the U.S. title match, like I've got definitely some point to that as well. So a little callback to when Sky was in WarGames before, and she put the trash can on herself and jumped off the top. They put the trash can on her, and then beat the crap out of her, which was kind of fun.
I thought it was on Mia that they. No, that was a different spot. Wasn't
That
it?
was a different spot.
There was a lot happening in that match.
But however, Sky did land a beautiful moonsault, which scared the hell out of me because
I thought Bianca got hurt.
Yep, because Bianca's like holding her leg and screaming, and
and I watched the replay. Basically, when she went back, the lower half of that right leg just stayed planted.
Yeah,
and so she just kind of bent on it, and I was like,
yeah. Well, and
the
then
moonsault itself was pretty, but they were almost too close.
Yeah, but they did the overpan shot, which I love the way they've been using that. There was a bunch of times where everybody's just laid out and just a small span over the top of it to see the mayhem that just happened. When they did that, you could see her twisting her ankle.
Yeah,
like just almost like she was trying to get the feeling back into it, stretch it out a little bit.
It's that whole you step wrong and kind of roll your ankle, and you're like, I got to move it around to get the blood flow and feel normal again.
Yep.
Yeah, I noticed it, and I thought the same thing. I was like, oh no, like this is bad.
You had Nikki Cross, which one of the things she threw in there, which I didn't know what it was until this point, was she tried to handcuff Alexa Bliss to the cage.
That was when I really started noticing the "Did you think I forgot?"
Yeah.
That was when it was really prominent because they were focused in on those two right there by that camera. And "Did you think I forgot? Did you think I forgot what you did to me?" And I was like, "Oh, that's great."
Tries to get her up there. Ends up handcuffing her. Bliss ends up handcuffing Nikki to her. So nice little touch there. We tried to tease a 4-corner spot, which I don't know which way it was supposed to be planned. If all 4 were supposed to go at the same time, or if it was supposed to be one after the other.
I think it was supposed to be one after the other because that many people in a ring like that, you end up landing on top of each other, and that can go poorly. I personally am not a big fan of them all going at the same time. With this type of ring, like with the old TNA rings, it was different because that extra angle made a difference.
So it came off kind of weird because you had one, and then you had Asuka and Bliss doing it together. But then again, that kind of makes sense because they're kind of teaming right now. So it was almost like
you expect to have the "we're not a team" response.
Yeah,
I gotcha.
In the closing moments of the match, Belair and Lynch
cleaned house.
Wonderful cleaning house and chemistry with each other. KOD's left and right, KOD into the cage, which was absolutely gorgeous.
Was so nice.
Yeah.
Was it Dakota or Bailey?
It was Dakota that went.
Bailey.
That's right. It was Bailey because the knees. That's what I was
Dakota
thinking.
And Io were on the table.
That's right.
Am I the only one that thinks Io Sky is a dumbass name? What was wrong with Io Shirai? What was wrong with it?
I don't know. I don't think it's necessarily a dumb name. It's an odd choice to change it to Sky when everybody else kept their names, but
and she's the genius of the Sky. That just makes it worse.
Yeah.
When you refer to that,
it did make it awkward when Corey mentioned that because he said she was the genius of Sky when she was doing the rope hop spot that she was doing, and it's a little convoluted when it's like she's the genius of the Sky, Io Sky.
It just Io Shirai. That's like I said in the thread last night on our Facebook page, kicking out too. That was my shameless plug right here in Tulsa, Oklahoma. my cheap pop. But I'm not calling her Io Sky. It's just stupid. She's Io Shirai. It's just stupid.
I hear you.
I can't. I just.
So they clean house. Lynch is motioning to have Belair put Kai and Sky onto the table.
On the table.
She jumps to the top, double leg drop off the top through the table to end out the match. 3 count.
Which was nice. That was a nice way to finish. I thought Becky was going to turn right there at the end when they were kind of posing after it was over.
Yeah.
I thought Becky was going to smack Bianca.
Yeah.
So the question is, did they debut Becky on SmackDown because they wanted to keep that flavor in it, or is it because Becky's going to SmackDown?
I'm hoping, and we talked about this last episode, I'm hoping that it's to send her to SmackDown. Separate her and Bella for a while, because I agree with you, it makes sense to look at it and go, she should turn on Belair and start that thing. But I think if we let that breathe some, get them away from each other for a little bit, and then come back to it, I think that's going to be a lot better.
Is Becky going to want to be on a different show than her husband, though?
But where does he go now? Because he was the U.S. champ, now he's not. Which we'll get to that later.
Well, I mean, I guess you could move him and send him after Roman.
Yep, send him after Roman, or send him after the Intercontinental title.
No, I want to. I actually, we'll cover that if we do it when we do SmackDown a little bit. Okay, what was next after this match?
Next was the Battle of the Bullet Club leaders: Finn Balor versus AJ Styles. Again, before the match even starts, Michael Cole mentioning everything. He's mentioning Bullet Club leadership. He's mentioning Apollo 55 tag team. Finn defeating Kushida.
Okay. I feel like this is more important than the damn match was, okay? The match was what it was for those two. I expect certain things from their matches, and it was a great match. But it was pointless. It's not a blow-off. It's not the end of the feud. What do we think was going to happen here?
Yeah, so we
proved that AJ can beat Finn when the rest of Judgment Day and Rhea are not at ringside? Yeah. Okay, so?
I highly expected Judgment Day to get a win just because I think they need a win, but...
No, they don't.
I don't know.
No, they don't. Having Dominic with those guys is enough heat because people hate that kid.
Yeah.
Seeing the thing from Thanksgiving was hysterical.
Did. Yeah.
That shit was hysterical.
Yep.
I'm here for this. I am all for that part of this storyline because I am not a Rey Mysterio fan. And the fact that she busted that door in and then he smashed that picture on Rey's leg and then he did it with oh my God.
Yep.
I was like, this may be the best thing to happen on Thanksgiving Day in my life. Like.
Well, and I'm almost surprised that she didn't reference with Aaliyah for the fact that Aaliyah had the thing with Buddy and Rhea part of her daddy. Just a little reference just to throw it in there, but
that would have been so great. And you stay away from my boyfriend.
Yeah.
But they can't because of Dominic and her. They're acting like this is a thing.
But then again, she could have dropped that and just said it like that.
Yeah.
And then it's referencing Dom.
Yeah.
Stay away from my man and just walk out.
That would have been solid. That would have been hilarious.
But yeah, so mentioning all that, mentioning the IWGP Championship, mentioning that Styles took over the club after Finn went to WWE.
I am so happy that we're not acting like these other promotions don't exist anymore.
Yeah. The only thing...
That is the biggest thing with this.
Yeah. The only thing to me that was missing...
Like you're the only company in the world. Stop it!
The only thing that was missing to me was mentioning that Kenny Omega took it over after AJ left. But I don't think they're going to go that far, but that would have been a nice little...
They're not giving an EVP that kind of rub.
Yeah.
It's not happening. It's just not going to happen.
So AJ had control early. Prince, he came back. Like you said, like it's tough to say anything about this match because it went how you'd expect this match to go.
Right.
It's a great match. I do agree. The
story
is.
I am in no way taken away from the ability of either one of these performers. They're both 5-star machines if they have the right partner and the right leeway to get in there and just go. Their movesets are very similar.
Yeah.
So the match itself was what I expected. The club fought with the Judgment Day. They left ringside, which to me needed to happen.
Yep.
That was good. AJ wins. Okay, what's next?
Yeah.
Like, what are we doing
What are we
now?
gonna do? Yeah.
Did this end anything? Because you're not fighting over titles. You're not fighting over control of the Judgment Day. Like, what are we doing?
Yep. Um.
And personally, the only way I think Finn should have won that is if you're bringing back Edge. But if you're bringing back Edge, it needs to be something Rhea's involved in because they need to bring back Beth too.
Yeah.
Because I need that match.
Well, and that's where I'm confused because it was so obvious that's where we were going, and then we made
Michael
this
Cole mentioned it.
complete U-turn to the Judgment Day and the club, and then so it's like, now how do we get back to that? How do we get back to this other story, or are we going to get back to it?
This could conceivably be the blow off, but it seemed kind of pointless for a blow off.
Yeah.
And we don't have another pay-per-view till the Rumble, right?
Right.
2 months.
Yep. So just ending sequence was kind of fun. He failed a calf crusher. Styles did. Pronouns pal. Styles was about to secure the victory with a phenomenal forearm. It was a good sequence, ending it and finishing it out. I do completely agree with you. It was a great match, but the story I wasn't 100% behind, just because where do we go from here?
Right.
Well, and then, like, I know they were out earlier and did their thing earlier, but having this whole thing run through and Rhea's not there and Mia Yim's not there, like, so it's still not the club and the Judgment Day. It was just.
So are we going to have a blow off of a 4-on-4 intergender or mixed tag or however they call it now?
Maybe.
At this point, look, if we have this match, let the girls get in there with the guys.
Yeah.
Let them.
Absolutely.
Rhea's proved she can get in there and go with them. Mia's not beyond that.
No.
Throw Mia in there with Dominic for a couple minutes. He hits a couple of small moves, so he's not abusing her, which I understand is the concern of how it looks. But we're doing this in promotions all over the country, except here.
Yeah. If it's done, right, then,
but not much.
Yeah.
But why are we saying these girls? We're going to say they can do everything the guys can. Well, let them prove it.
Yeah.
Let's get them in there and do this.
Well, and I think there's a way you do it, because, like, you're not going to put Alexa Bliss versus Braun Strowman.
No,
like, you're not going to do
that.
That. Put people in there that are relatively the same size, relatively the same ability, and it's fine. If you put Rhea in there with Carl Anderson,
any one of those three, she can go.
Right. And then same thing with Mia Yim is on the other side. There's not really anybody that you look at the other side and go, all right, they're too big, they're too hard for them to face her.
She might struggle a little with Damian Priest just because of his size.
Yeah.
But Rhea's the same damn size as Luke Gallows.
Yeah.
Like, and it's believable. You put Rhea in there with Finn or Dom, or put Mia Yim in there with Finn or Dom, completely believable. Completely makes it totally believable.
Absolutely. Lock of the night, obviously, was Ronda Rousey versus Shotzi. Nobody thought Shotzi was winning this. So here's the thing. I'm not gonna talk too much about this match. To me, like, Ronda won. We all knew that was gonna happen. There was a couple of good spots in there. The spot with the obvious plants in the front, where she took out, she being Shotzi, took out Ronda and Shayna, and then rolled into the audience that was there. That was a decent spot. But here's the thing, like, the chemistry between these two, first of all, didn't work at all. You've got Shotzi, who works a very fast and chaotic style. You've got Ronda, who should slow down, but tries to go faster. And when she goes faster, it always seems to fall into a problem. For instance, the DDT spot on the apron. That would have been really cool, but it's like she tried to rush through it.
That spot,
and everything just kind of fell apart.
That spot showed me that Ronda will not sell for someone if she doesn't think they deserve it.
Okay.
Look, I like Shotzi. I think they could do a lot with the girl. I personally think they could send her back to NXT and she could do some greatness down there.
Mm-hmm.
Send her back, let her have a run with the title down there. Make her a more legitimate star there. She was a huge name on the independents before she came in, but she's lost in the mix.
She's lost in the mix, and this is going to be one of those things, like, I have things that I think about the wrestling business that I know are probably hot takes to a lot of people. I know Shotzi's been in the business a long time. Every time I see her in the ring, though, she still looks green to me. And I don't know if it's because maybe on the indies she was fighting people more her style, and so that shotgun
was that
style.
A hair joke, or were you talking about her
ability in the ring? Good job.
That's a good one.
No. So like I agree with you. Going back to NXT would accomplish what you're talking about, but I think it would also get her more time to look at. Maybe it's just she's still not used to the TV style. Maybe that's what it is.
I think she needs what. This is one of those times I wish he was still around, because Dusty giving her a masterclass in ring psychology would do wonders for this child.
Yeah.
Again, I say this having never been in the business. I've never done it, so I am in no way taken away from her athletic ability.
Mm-hmm.
The girl can get in there and go with the right opponent.
Right.
This match was hot garbage, and I blame Ronda. She's not good. She should not have a title. She was a draw when she first showed up. It was a huge deal. Nobody fucking cares. Go home.
So
go on back home, or put her in a team with Shayna. Let Shayna do the talking. Let Shayna do the bulk of the work, and call it good.
So I will say I disagree on one side of it, and that's I think her as this heel. What she's doing heel wise right now, I'm good with. But someone needs to take her aside and say, look, when you're in the ring, you should be that methodical arm breaker. That's what you are. Don't go in there and try to do a bunch of moves one after another. The few times, so like when they're on the ground and I forget what Shotzi was trying to do, but then Ronda trapped both her legs.
Yeah, I saw that.
So that I look at that and go, that's a good move. Play with it. Stay on that for a little bit. But she was just like, which leg do I pick? And then picked one and went. And it's like, no, you've got her trapped. You're an MMA master. Why are we rushing to the next spot?
To the audience, like she expects them to care.
Yeah.
You go on and on about how you don't care about the audience, and then you do that shit.
Well, and
stop it.
And that's where turn your head 10 degrees to where Shayna was, and ask Shayna. Shayna, which one do I break?
Right.
Which is going to be the left one because it's always the left one. But
yeah.
but no, I agree with you. Like it's contradictory. It's like what I always said when she did the heel run the first time. She did the heel run, but then she'd come out smiling and waving at the fans, and it's like, no, if you're a heel, you're a heel. Don't give a crap about what they say or give a crap about their cheers.
Right. I don't like Ronda. I'm not a fan. You were a draw for a minute and then you left and you ran your mouth and nobody cares.
Yeah.
I don't know if you ran your mouth because you thought it would get you heel heat when you came back. It didn't. Go away.
Well, I wonder, just because of other interviews she's had, if that was she was trying to blend that kayfabe and real life thing, and it can be done, but you're
She's
not
the one.
Yeah, you're not the one in the game to do that.
No, you're not Andrade or Charlotte or any of these people that actually have a reason to talk that mess.
Yeah.
And until you do, shut up.
Well, and they're not going to do it, and I understand why. She's a draw. She's big money. I get it. But that would be another one if you send her down to NXT and have her learn some. Like, I think she could be good. I think she could be.
See, I disagree. Because I think if she goes to NXT, she's going to act like I'm too good to be here and ignore what she's being told.
Oh, yeah. No, don't get me wrong. She's going to be like 96 Big Show going down to freaking FCW because he got too fat and too out of shape. Like, that's going to happen. And she's going to big time everybody. But
why did you have to do that to the Big Show? Like, what did he do to you?
I love the Big Show.
He signed my jersey. No.
Yeah, we saw him. I know he was big dude. I was afraid to talk to him. I know.
That's a huge damn.
But no, I get it. Like, she would go down there and she would big time it, and and that it wouldn't accomplish what it needs to. But what I'm saying is, if she would go with that and go down there and learn, slow down, take your time. Like I hear it all the time in Road Dogg's podcast, which great listen to if anybody's not listening to it. I like Road Dogg's podcast. Um, he
You
actually
just like Road
retweeted me
Dogg's
earlier.
podcast because you were on there.
Well, that too. No, he's got big heat right now because of the words "getting over," and I find it hilarious because people are calling him out without listening to the show. Because he said someone Disco Inferno wrote a tweet that said like 95% of today's people don't know how to
And
get over.
he responded with, "I think that's too low or something."
Yeah, but nobody's listened to the podcast of what he said about getting over. He's not saying that they're not talented, but the word getting over is overused. Because people are saying, well, like a great example is El Generico was over. El Generico was popular, people liked him, but if he was over, he would have been in one of the big main companies. He would have already been snagged up. If he was over, can you say someone's over if they're only pulling 200 people in an auditorium?
Okay,
and 200 people
yes.
are cheering for him.
Hold on. See, but I can disagree with that because just because look at look at some of the guys that took forever to get there just because Vince wouldn't sign them.
Yes, but
not because they weren't good, not because it wasn't deserved.
But
he was just a dickbag about it.
My question
and
would
wouldn't
be
sign these people that had every reason to be there.
My question would be though, are they the same character they were before? Sami Zayn, massive character, massively over. Stick El Generico in that spot.
Yes.
I don't see that. I don't see El Generico being as over as Sami Zayn.
Kevin Owens.
See, but that's what I'm saying. There are some people that are still like that. I think Kevin Owens was over. I don't know if El Generico was over.
I feel like he was. I feel like that's why he got signed. I feel like that's why Hunter went, I want that guy. We're just going to take the mask off him and let him be himself. Still the same person.
Still the same person, not that character.
To me, it's not that different. I don't feel like it's that different.
We agree to disagree.
Or you can just admit you're wrong. It's fine.
So anyway, Ronda wins.
Nobody cared.
Deal. Nobody cared. She's
like
still
I said during the thread, if you have to poop, do it now.
Next was the United States title.
This match was a banger.
Before it even starts, though, for some reason, Theory Strong was an advertisement for Beyblades. I don't know what happened there.
I saw a tweet that said, "Can you imagine the look on Vince's face when he realized that Triple H changed Austin Theory's name to whatever that was?"
Yeah. My favorite part of it, there's just a small moment where it like panned in really close to Austin Theory, and right over here it said "some assembly required" next to his head.
That is so
Done.
great.
Done.
That is so. The sad part is though, it kind of fits.
He's a toy. People play with him.
With what they're doing with him, that's not too far off.
Yeah. So match starts and immediately Bobby Lashley clotheslined him out. Him being Theory. Seth looks at him like, "What are you doing? What's going on?" And then immediately does the same thing.
Right.
As soon as Theory tries to get back in. So that left Seth and Bobby to fight each other for a little while.
Right. Which overall, I liked how this whole match went.
Mm-hmm.
It got kind of. It's a triple threat. You expect a mild spot of chaotic.
Yeah.
Like you expect a certain level of chaotic.
I don't disagree.
Okay, so go ahead and read what you've got there, because I have a spot that I want to talk about.
Okay. They did a good job balancing it. So like you were talking about, like it's always kind of something you expect, a cookie cutter of you have two of them in, the third one gets in, schmoz happens, one goes out. Like it's a lot of good keeping it down to two people because three people is a bit of a crowd. Go ahead and talk about the spot you want because I don't know where it fits into what we're.
It's the double hurt lock.
Oh, okay. So yeah, go ahead.
So I looked at this, And my only problem with it was I understand with the positioning they were in, it had to be this way, but Theory's arms were straight up in the air.
Mm-hmm.
I would like to have seen him drop down between the two of them and then do some other kind of interaction to try and get a pinfall out of it.
Yeah, no, I don't disagree with that at all.
I'm like, dude, your arms are straight up in the air. The whole point of this move is to do that to get out. Drop straight down.
Yep.
Just sit on your butt, fall back between them. I don't care if when you do it, you make it look like it was an accident and you kick Rollins in the groin, throw Lashley out of the ring and go for the pin. Something.
Yeah, no, I see what you mean. Maybe him being smashed in between the two, maybe that's what kept it from happening. We don't know.
I don't know. It just, to me, it looked really awkward.
It did. And if it could have looked a little bit better, I think that would have been a fun ending if Lashley would have won with
Yeah,
that.
both of them to tap at the same time.
Yeah. Or have one start to tap and the other one grab the other's arm.
Or
like in that moment.
Have Theory do it to Rollins and then Lashley do it to Theory.
Oh, okay. So it puts more pressure on Seth.
If Rollins taps, who is he tapping? See, that's a way you could have ended this with keeping the title on Seth.
Yep, absolutely. Hold on, we have a visitor here. Come on.
I just had a stupid question I needed answered.
Okay, it's a stupid question I need to answer right now?
Yeah.
Okay.
Is PG-13 more kid-friendly than PG or less kid-friendly?
PG-13 is more kid-friendly because it means you can be 13-year-old and watch it without a parent.
My brain can't process.
Okay. Movie ratings by kicking out of 2.
Was it Chad?
No, that was Kai. My daughter, everybody, asking me lovely questions and refusing to be on camera. But yeah, so that would have been a fun little thing. I get what you're saying there. It puts more pressure on Seth. If Seth taps, then you could say
who wins.
Yeah, and say give the win to Bobby, but then you have Theory that has a case of no, he tapped because I had him in.
Or if you give it to Theory, you have the case that Bobby had him in a hold, so it Yeah,
I think Theory plays that off better.
I was surprised by the ending. I liked it though. It was a good surprise.
It was.
I will call that one of those. I didn't see that coming.
Absolutely. The only thing I would have hoped. Let's talk about the sequence just real quick. So Lashley tried to put Rollins in the hurt lock. Theory jumped on his back to break it up with the sleeper. Rollins hit Theory with a superplex. After that, tried to do the superplex into the Falcon Arrow gimmick. And when he gets him up for the Falcon Arrow piece of it, then Lashley spears him. Which leads Theory to fall almost right on top of Seth, and he covers him for the pin. If we're trying to change Theory to be an opportunist, I wish he would have just waited a beat. Just a beat, because it almost looks like he just kind of rolled over. If it would have been
fell there.
Yeah, if there would have been a beat of him looking and seeing that Lashley's over there, I got this. All right.
As simple as a.
Yeah, real quick. But
is that an experience?
It could be, and that's like, it was a great match. Like that to me, that's splitting hairs. I just wish he would have taken a little bit of a beat. But we'll see what the character is. Is the character that he's lucked into it, and now he's going to act like he's the greatest thing, or is it that he's going to come out and say, "I took that opportunity"? If it's I took that opportunity, I wish it just would have been just a beat later to give it just a quick look of, oh, I'm going to take this opportunity.
He could also use it as, see, this is what happens. Things just go my way because I deserve them.
There you go.
So
a few of the spots did look a little planned, but that happens in 3 ways. Where it's like, oh, that's obviously what was going to happen there.
Right.
But
again,
that particular
3-way dance, whatever you want to call them, that's an expected part of it.
Yeah. Which actually, one spot that I forgot to talk about that I really liked is, so we've got Theory in the hurt lock. Theory reverses it into a pin on Lashley, and then Seth comes in with a frog splash out of nowhere as far as the camera is concerned.
That was nice.
It was really good because it's one of those you think Theory might get the cheap win here and roll him up like that, and then just out of nowhere, Seth, bam.
I also liked where he jumped. I think he jumped off of Theory to
do
stomp
the
Bobby.
Yeah.
That was nice too.
Yeah. Get a little more oomph in it, which kind of harkens back to when he was trying to do the stomp to Bobby before, and he couldn't do it because Bobby was just too damn strong.
Yeah.
So he had to get more momentum,
right,
to get it done. So
right,
really good match.
very good.
You know, I mentioned earlier, like I was going to talk a little bit about this, and it's just kind of the wait and see thing. Like everybody is questioning, what do you do with Theory? And now we did a thing. He's gotten a little bit more edge to him. No pun intended, since he's trying to kind of be the opportunist. But it's leading to him having the title again.
But now what?
Well, no, I agree with you. Like, do you keep
So we're
him
gonna have
against
and
Seth,
Lashley
or him and
again?
Lashley? Yeah,
or him and Seth again?
yeah. Which obviously one of them has to have the call for it, and it's probably going to be Seth because Seth was the champ.
Unless they, like we were talking about, moved Seth to SmackDown.
Yeah, and then Bobby goes for it. Yeah, I mean we'll see what happens.
The problem is, I feel like on Raw, there's just not enough going on for Theory to make that title matter.
Yeah.
I feel like right now SmackDown is by far the superior show.
It is. I'll agree with that. It is the more entertaining show. I think Raw is hanging a lot on the Bray stuff, and maybe that's what it is.
No, I thought he was on SmackDown.
Is it on SmackDown that he's doing that?
Yeah, he's on SmackDown too.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah.
That's what I'm saying. I just there's that. There's the World Cup thing they're doing for the Intercontinental title.
Yep.
There's the Bloodline.
Which, by the way, it's Shane wants his trophy back because it's the best in the World Cup. It's the same cup.
Is it?
It's the same damn cup. At least it looks like it.
Shane left it behind because he didn't need it anymore.
Yeah. That's what was in the lockbox that we didn't know about. Anyway. So now for the main event, which Jesus Christ, if I had any question of why they put so much gimmick in the women's match, it's because the story blew this one straight into the stratosphere. But before it even started, you have them all coming out, and Owen's wearing the dusty shirt and the elbow pad, just
and the jeans with the hole in the knee, the whole thing.
He was just missing the boots. That's all he was missing.
When he got in the ring, that was one of the first things I looked at. I was like, is he wearing boots?
He should have.
Would have been so good.
So we started off with Butch and Jay, starting it for both of them. It was really weird to me to have them just jaw jack for like 45 seconds. Because since the good guys had the extra advantage.
I think that's the downside of the good guy. The good guy, in my opinion, the good guy should never have the advantage.
Yeah. Like, to me, like if the Bloodline would have had the advantage, that spot would have made sense to me because Jay's wasting time.
Because he's going to get help. Yeah, no, I agree. Can we stop calling him Butch? Can we please stop this? He's doing everything Pete done. He's even gone back to putting his hands on his face.
Well, and
can we stop this?
And they even referenced the fact, like, they didn't say he's Pete Dunne, but they referenced that he's been in WarGames before. So it's like we're referencing the fact that he was in NXT now. So I don't know. Maybe eventually it goes back, but it was good to have him start off again, kind of like with the Kai thing.
I hope it happens because somebody slip of the tongue calls him Pete.
Oh, with Kofi Kingston it?
Yes.
Wait a minute. What happened to your accent?
I thought you were Jamaican. That will always be one of the funniest things that ever happened on Raw.
Yep. Absolutely.
Hold on. I have a question. Aren't you from Jamaica?
So, I mean, decent back and forth between those two. It was good once they got started. But then Holland comes in. Go ahead.
Who came in?
Holland.
Yeah. That guy that almost killed Big E.
Yeah, that guy.
I still have beef with this dude. I don't dislike the guy, but I have beef because you took out Big E, and that's a problem.
Yep.
I didn't think anything really mattered in that match until it was time for the next person from the bloodline to come in.
It was. I agree with you. Holland coming out was really just kind of a placeholder. The only thing that really stood out to me is there was a point where Jay was really holding his hand.
Yeah.
And
that hand's jacked up. They're going to drop those titles soon. His hand is already jacked up, and then after what Pete Dunne did to it last night, no, they're dropping them titles soon. That's happening.
Well, and that's if he's not the best seller in the world, because like I said, that happened, but then later he punches with it, and then
adrenaline is the bitch, though.
I don't disagree.
You got a hurt hand, and you don't think about it, and your adrenaline's pumping. No, I think that hand is hurt.
Definitely could be.
The whole Jimmy starts to take off, and Roman's like, nah, and he sends Sammy.
Perfect.
First of all, Roman has a chair in there, and every camera angle they had where you couldn't see the chair, it looked like he's taking a poop. And Paul Heyman looks like the guy standing behind him that he's like, where's my toilet paper? And the person just stands there.
He's
like,
Jeeves.
What do you mean? That's what it looks like. And this is why people don't take me places.
Yep.
And I'm okay with that.
Poop jokes aside, yeah. So Jimmy looks like he's about to go out there, which obviously, like his brother, he wants to go help him out.
There, right.
Reigns holding him off and saying, "No, you go."
So Sammy has to be in there with Jay.
Has to be in there with Jay.
Sammy took forever to get up there too.
But here's the thing: like it's one of those where he could go back and say that was strategy if it didn't end the way it did. Like obviously we'll get to the ending and all that, but if there still would be beef between the two, he could say it's strategy, because what happened? He waited. He took his time. He took the attention off of Jay. Jay was able to come back, and then Sammy has a spot to get in, like master strategist.
That's fair.
So, but yeah, he took his sweet ass time getting in there. Once they took it out though, like and got the advantage, immediately start bickering and start going back and forth. Which then from there, Jimmy was the next bloodline member out.
Who came in before him? Drew. It was Drew.
That's right. Drew came in.
Yeah, Drew came in. Spot you expect from Drew.
Yeah.
I don't dislike Drew. He doesn't do. I don't get excited about him.
Yeah.
Put the sword up, first of all, Braveheart. Look, Merlin called. He said, put it back in the stone. We're done with this. Stop it.
So I have a problem with the sword, specifically because in wrestling, don't give me something that is not going to pay off. And unless you're going to
never paying off.
Yeah, if you're not going to stab a dude or choppy pee-pee with that sword, then I don't put it away. I don't need it. I don't need the sword.
Oh my god.
He did the one thing where
the worst. Why did you go? Why there? Why?
Because it was a sword and it paid off. There was a spot where he cut the ropes, and it's like that was cool. It showed dominance. It showed aggression, but like you're not going to use the sword. So
right.
why
do we have
you're
not literally stabbing somebody with that sword? Why do you have it?
Well, and back when it was part of the entrance, where he would just raise it up and then like he'd put it down in the thing.
Okay, that's different.
Yeah, it's just part of the entrance, and you walk away.
But coming to the ring and swinging it around like you're going to hit. What happens if you accidentally hit somebody? That shit is obviously sharp.
Yep.
You accidentally swing and cut somebody's jugular. Like, what are we doing?
Yep.
Turned from a wrestling show into a snuff film. Like, what is happening?
So yeah, he comes out. He being McIntyre.
Nobody cared.
Like you said, basic spots. It was just like a Drew run-in situation. Comes in there and hits everybody. Nice little spot though, where he was going to do a superplex to Jay, and Sammy saves him from that. So again, just kind of that little bit of like, I'm doing this for you. I'm trying to help you.
Right.
So then Jimmy comes out, immediately puts in 3 tables, which
we were all here for. Everybody was excited about that.
Everybody was excited for it because the crowd had been calling for tables all night. They got a table spot in the women's match too, but like every time they went into the ring, it was we want tables every single time. So 3 tables immediately in the ring. As they're trying to set up a table, Jay and Sammy go at each other again.
Yeah.
It's like Thanksgiving
The
all over again. We can't even
storytelling
just set up the table.
the storytelling from Jay talking to Roman earlier, Roman talking to Sammy,
hmm
the look he had on his face when he hugged Sammy in the back, sending Sammy in to help Jay, like this whole thing, this was some storytelling perfection from
Absolutely.
the WWE, and I will give them all the credit in the world for it.
Which let's take a pause for that real quick because we did kind of miss over those backstage moments. So um, on SmackDown, uh, Jay is kind of sneakily seeing a conversation between Sammy and Kevin, and Kevin's
Right.
basically just saying like they're not your family.
They're
I'm
gonna
your
turn on you
family.
at some
They're going to
point.
turn on you. You should turn on them first. And when Jay comes out and confronts Sammy, like, "Hey, have you talked to anybody?" He lies to him and says no.
Right.
So first backstage spot is Jay telling Roman about this and saying, "Here's what happened. What do you want me? I would have dropped him, but you didn't give me the order to drop him. I would have dropped him right there on site.
Right.
What do you want me to do?" He says, "I want you to be my right hand man. I want you to do what I tell you to do, and I will handle everything else." And so he leaves. Later, we get another spot where, Sammy has been summoned to that room, and he just confronts him about it. Why'd you lie to Jay? And perfect strategy statement of
Perfect answer.
yeah,
Perfect
he
answer.
had a match for this.
Am I the only person that thinks Paul Heyman sitting back there like that is creepy as shit? Sitting there with them titles, and when Triple H said his name, it's like he was a robot that was turned off holding those belts. Yes, my tribal chief. Like,
yeah.
what are you, C3PO in the corner? Like, what are you, Drax of the story standing there eating a chip? What is happening?
I'm fine with him being Silent Bob in the back. I'm fine with it. But so he wonderful, and you could almost see like Sammy's so good at this. He looked very emotional.
Yeah.
You guys took me in. You brought me into this family. There are 5 people that are allowed in this room, and I'm one of them. And that does
Right.
not get
No,
that
the
does not
story
go
was
past.
great.
Absolutely wonderful. And then so Roman and him just kind of stare at each other for a minute, and it's
Roman hugs him, and he has that look on his face, and I'm like, this is what's happening. It's happening tonight.
Well, even before that, like just them staring at each other was almost awkwardly too long. But was it him trying to fill out Sammy of like looking at his eyes, looking at his posture, like, am I going to catch him at a lie here? And then
am I going to end up beating the crap out of him in the dressing room?
And then
it's 5-on-4. Like, what's happening?
And then he stands up. Then let's do it. Bring it in. Hug. Wonderful camera shot of him just going from that smile face straight to like, I'm gonna whoop this dude's ass if he fails me tonight.
Right.
Absolutely wonderful. So what I like about this, though, to bring that to what we were just talking about, of they're trying to set up a table and there's an argument between the two, and they actually end up pushing each other around. Camera pans then back to Roman sitting in his seat doing his poop job. But just the look on his face of like the disgust of what's going on.
Right.
Was amazing. And I love that throughout the match they kept going back to him, and it's like if his team was in the right, then he had just like a little smirk on his face and look over at Paul and smile, and then if he was on the losing end, then it was, I'm disgusted at what's going on.
I feel like when this blows up, I don't think he's going to turn on Sammy first. I think Sammy's going to, whenever they do this, I feel like Sammy is going to be the reason the Usos lose the tag titles, but somehow it's not going to be Sammy's fault, and Roman's going to turn on Jay.
I have a different thought. So let's hold the speculation.
Okay. Let's finish this.
Let's finish this, and then we'll talk about the speculation. So Owens is the next one to come in the match. He immediately tosses in 3.
We skipped Sheamus, but that's neither here nor there. Sheamus and Solo. Or was
no,
Sheamus last?
Sheamus was last.
Oh, okay.
So Owens comes in, he tosses in some steel chairs, proceeds to beat down the Usos with the steel chairs, and then you have that moment where it's him and Zayn staring at each other. And it's almost like the Asuka Io situation earlier of like, are we going to get this? Are we going to get this? And then Holland grabs Zayn. and like a little tease moment of, nope, we're not getting that yet. That's not happening
Right.
yet. So he snatches him and then gives Zayn a little bit of a beatdown. Sikoa comes in, completely levels everybody. I love Sikoa.
That guy,
So good.
first of all, sitting there with the towel on his head and his arms crossed, I'm not sure if Taz or Kama Mustafa should be expecting some royalties. But I've noticed something, and I'm not sure if it's intentional or not, but every time they do that where they raise the one hand,
He doesn't.
he doesn't.
He
just stands there.
Crossed.
And I'm like, is this intentional? Like, what's...
I don't know. If nothing else, it's because he's the enforcer of the group.
And I get that, but that didn't stop Arn Anderson from doing this.
Well, no.
I mean, or never mind, that was a bad joke.
I was questioning whether I was going to go there. Arn, we love you. You are the best thing about that group. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Don't get your gat out in the street and shoot me.
That was one of the best things all summer.
Yeah. But no, so he's absolutely great for as young as he is in the business.
Yeah.
For as young as he is in general. Amazing work. He's younger than the Usos. He's the little brother. But absolutely wonderful. Nice little spot between him and Owens in the in between rings area, which I find nobody uses, and it's one of those things that Kevin does these little tweaks to things that no one else thinks of. He's trying to knock down Sikoa, and so he throws him into the cage. Nothing happens. He hits him. Nothing happens. It's almost beefing him up, and then he stomps on his foot.
Yes. He's 29. His middle name is Yokozuna. His name is Joseph Yokozuna Fatu. That's amazing.
That's nice.
I didn't know that. That's amazing. He was born in 93.
Okay. But yeah, so like him having that thought of, well, you're sitting here without shoes on. What would I do to get you off guard? I'm gonna stomp on your foot.
Right.
Makes perfect sense.
Yeah, no, that was a great spot. Hits him with the 2 super kicks and nothing, so he stomps on his foot.
Yeah.
Or no, he threw him into the cage.
Threw him into the cage, and then the super kick.
And then he stomped on his foot.
And then he went to hit a power bomb or a pile driver, but then he gets backdropped from Sikoa. So,
which I have to say, I love that little thing over the 2 rings.
Yeah.
I love it.
It adds a little bit extra space for you to work with.
Well, not just that, but how many times do we watch these matches and see somebody slip and fall through there and either end up injured or it completely ruin whatever was going on?
Yep. Absolutely. So he clears field. Everybody's fighting. Sheamus comes out. Sheamus, the resurgence of Sheamus this last couple of years has been amazing. Like I joke about the big jar of mayonnaise, but
the human jar of mayonnaise.
Jesus, this man he's good. And I would be okay if they gave him one more run before he's done. Just so he could have one where he's not like the chicken shit heel running away from NXT.
We talked about it before. The WCW WarGames did have the cage on top.
Did have the spot on top? Yeah.
Yeah, it had the cage on top.
I thought so.
The Tower of Doom obviously had it.
Yeah.
But I think even back when the original WarGames had the cage on top.
What made me remember that is there was a spot where Sid was powerbombing Lex, and like he kept hitting the cage when he went up.
Yeah.
Because Sid is so damn tall.
Yeah, the NWA when Dusty started it in NWA, that's because it was NWA WCW that started WarGames.
So he comes out, he cleans house. Nice hard fought spots from him. My favorite spot though was him doing white noise off the middle rope to Sikoa.
That was so nice.
And mainly just because it looked like, not that Sikoa wouldn't help, but it looks like Sikoa couldn't help. So it's like he dead weighted him up to the second rope and then dropped him.
What's he gonna do? He's got him on his shoulders.
Yeah, he finally got, once he got to the second rope, then he was able to post a little bit on that top rope and help him stay up there. But yeah, getting him up, it looked like he just hoisted him up there. And nice white noise. As expected, Roman's the last one to come out. takes his sweet time getting down there, as Roman should, because he's the tribal chief and he's going to go at his own pace. Um, he gets in there though, and we get that nice spot of both teams, one in each ring. It's got to happen every so often to have that moment of both teams staring each other down.
I liked it because so much craziness, and even some of them were like, I think it was Jay or Jimmy was really struggling to stand up.
Yeah.
And I think it was Sammy that helped him.
Well, so if I remember right, Roman helped him up first, and then he slipped, and then Sammy snagged him and helped him the rest of the way back up. So again, Sammy doing what he can to help the team out.
Yeah.
A couple of great spots that just happened. You had the all 5 opponents doing the Brawling Brutes, 10 beats of the Bowery.
That was nice.
I have seen some people on Twitter saying that it was too much. I think it was a good spot. Like that's one of those things.
Too much? Why? I thought it was perfect.
Yeah.
They went a little long. I think it should have been 5 or 6, and that should have been the end of it.
Yeah.
Or like 25 was a bit much.
But it was a good spot though. You had Jay accidentally super kidding Zayn, and then the look afterwards was perfect. It was like he didn't give crap. He did it, and Jimmy's looking at him like, "What the hell are you doing?" He just forget that, and then moved on.
Right.
So little concern for his teammate on that. The Usos 1D off the ropes was wow.
I have such mixed opinions on them doing this.
Of them doing the.
I get it. I get it, and I understand that they got permission from the Dudleys to do it, and I like that they talked about that.
Yeah.
Because the first time they did it, Corey called it. He called it a 3D.
Yeah. So,
and then I think it was the next time they did it, he mentioned that they had gotten permission from the Dudleys to do it and to call it the 1D, one and done, the 1D.
So for the fact that the Dudleys are no longer like a team together, for the most part, they're still the one-offs that they do every so often.
Right.
I'm fine with them having it as long as they keep, like we talked about the last episode, keep the finisher strong. Don't let people kick out of it. It's a tag match. People can push you off or interfere. Don't let people kick out of that. That should be left as a strong pass-down finisher. So, for instance, when they're done, when the Usos are ready to walk off in sunset, they pass that on to somebody else and keeps it going. So Reigns speared Holland through a table, which was really nice. It was a good spot. It was one of those spots where you look at it and you go, you know that's going to happen, but
because that table's been sitting there way too long.
But it's still fun that it happened. Sikoa planted McIntyre through a separate table, and then Owens nearly wrapped it up with a stunner to Reigns, which 1, 2, perfect timing. Sami Zayn catches the arm and just stares him in the face, which then starts some jaw jacking between the two. So this is your family. This is who you're supporting. This is your family, and it just wonderful little back and forth between the two. Perfect timing. Jay goes for a super kick, caught by Owens, which then Sherry Martel special, straight up the uprights.
Sherry.
So he's on the floor. Sammy's looking like he regretted what he did. And he's kind of staring, like he looks at Owens and he looks at Reigns and he's trying to figure out what's going to go on.
But Owens gets up into that corner.
Yeah, but then Zayn kneels down to Roman and just with a nod, Zayn knows what he needs to do. Gets up, Haluva kick, and that's
and then he lays him out for Jay and does one of these.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, that's nice.
Yeah. Well, and just before that spot, so they've done it so many times to each other, so depending on who was getting the move done to them, but the falling into the arms.
Yeah.
And usually it's like you let them slip down, and no, he dropped him and just said, cheers now. So then Jay hops up there, does the splash for the win. Great moment for him to give Jey Uso the win.
Yep.
So Jay won it for the team. While the women's match had a lot more big spots, this was a lot more about the storytelling. The story
Very much so. This was
was
much more ring
amazing.
psychology and storytelling.
Several feuds addressed in the same match. Several things paid off in the match. Several things built back up in the match because now, like Owens is
He's
not.
going to come after
Yeah,
Sammy.
it's going to come after Sammy, and that's going to lead to a lot of stuff. So the embrace by Reigns at the end, which very different from the embrace from earlier, which I
Yes.
like that. It was very
Yes.
like stretched out open arms, cradled his head. Um, I will say part of me was still waiting for the turn at this point of them dropping Sammy, but Jay comes in and it looks like Jay's about to start beef again, and then just
Huge
elated
hug.
hugs
Yeah.
and just loving it. It was a great way to end it.
Very well done.
And one of my favorite things is right when the cameras were about to shut off, you hear Zayn looking at Reigns and saying, "I am loyal to you tonight. I am loyal to you every night."
That's nice. I didn't catch that.
Yeah, it was so perfect.
The
Because
storytelling was really good in this match. The overall the show, I give it a pretty solid grade.
absolutely.
Ronda, Shotzi just killed any momentum the show had. But then Seth and Bobby got it back.
Yeah.
Seth and Bobby and Austin got it back.
To me it's always difficult when you open it up as strong as this one did. Because you opened up with that match and then it's like you have to breathe after that, and then you went straight into Finn and AJ.
Have you noticed that when they open shows with a women's match like this, those women go out and set the tone?
Absolutely.
And I've been so impressed. And it's not just here, it's anywhere.
Mm-hmm.
Any of the shows that they've had that have opened with a women's match, they go out and tear it up.
They're proving something. That they have to prove that every time. And it's sad that they have to. But
yes.
They do. They go out there and they show, look, we can do this just as well, and we can pull you guys in just as well. Just watch us.
Right.
And I absolutely loved it. Like I said, them starting that strong, going straight into AJ. I may have put the Ronda match before that because that was going to kind of be a dud.
I wouldn't have, because the crowd would have shit all over that match even more than they already did.
I'm just saying as far as maybe a breather, because like every pay-per-view has to have the bathroom match. Literally could have been the bathroom match to calm down a little bit from that opener because it was a massive
if
opening.
If you had done that, then you would have gone from AJ and Finn to that triple threat match to the main event. There's no downtime. I would have done it exactly like they did it. Put the shit in the middle so we can grab something to eat, get a drink, take a poop, whatever.
So, quick speculations. Go ahead with yours real quick of what you were thinking was going to happen with Sammy, and then I'll tell you.
I totally thought when the hug happened with Roman that he was going to hug him, and then when Sammy let go, he was going to turn around into a rock bottom from Sokoa.
Okay.
That's where I thought it would be. Or Sammy was going to turn during the match.
Yeah.
And something was going to happen where there was a chance to him to hit Owens with the chair, and he hesitates for a second, and Jay spins him around. What are you doing? And he hits Jay.
Yeah.
Or something where he took the super kick. When he took the super kick, I thought, oh, here it comes. Here it comes. And then it just didn't happen. And I'm like, okay. Yeah. My speculation down the line is he will somehow cost the Usos the tag titles. I'm not sure how that'll play out. I think he's going to be the reason Roman loses the championships. Again, I don't know how they're going to do all this, but I feel like Sammy will be the one to – something will happen to either Sammy or to Jay. And when they try to blame it on Sammy, Roman's going to turn on Jay. I think Jay is going to be where Roman turns. Something's going to happen. It's going to be like that I don't give a damn what the tribal chief says.
Yeah. So well, and that's like we talked about in the chat last night. What I kind of see is Jay's all in now. Jay sees that Sammy is here for the bloodline. That's when the bloodline turns away from him. And Jay's just like, what the hell?
Yeah.
The thing that I'm like I can't get out of my head is the way the Usos are going to lose is to Sammy and Kevin.
I see that as well.
And
That
so
wouldn't surprise me
I don't
either.
see him causing that loss. I see him being that loss. Um, the only other turn to me could be if he went for the world title, but as great as Sammy is, I don't see him beating Roman. I don't see that happening. At least
Unless
not without
it's,
Kevin's help.
I was gonna say, I think it depends on how this all plays out. There's a lot of ways it could go. I would love to see something happen where Kevin and Sammy are talking, or Kevin's talking to somebody and like, yeah, I know you did what you had to do, but you can't tell who he's talking to, like on the phone. And you find out that him and Sammy worked this all out ahead of time.
Okay.
And Kevin's like, yeah, I understand. I get it. You did what you had to do. It was what we needed to do. Something like that.
To make him an incel the entire time.
Yeah, I
Okay.
definitely think that they could do something to make that way more. They could do that to make it look like all of this was planned. Because wasn't it Kevin that moved when Sammy took the super kick?
Was it?
Or was it somebody else?
I think it was somebody else. I could be wrong, but I think
I
it
was
was
thinking
somebody
it was
else.
Kevin, but either way, it's one of those that they could definitely come later. And even the best way to do it would be that Jay starts to get cool with Sammy, and Jimmy starts to find these things out. And Jay's like, nah, he wouldn't do that. Look what he did for us. I didn't trust him, but look what he did for us.
Yeah.
And so Jimmy starts trying to plant these seeds.
Yeah.
There's a lot of ways you could do this.
I would almost say Sokoa just because he's always been like the silent one in the group, and so he's the one that drops the bomb of like it's been a plan the entire time.
Possibly.
But Jay would be a good Jimmy would be a good twist though, just because like it's always been him and Jimmy were good, and
him and Sammy were good, and him and Jay were brothers, and now Jay's like, nah, Sammy's one of us, and Jimmy's like, look, I'm telling you, something's not right here.
Yeah.
I heard him on the phone. I don't know who he was talking to. Blah blah blah.
Yeah. I'm good with that as long as we can get like one sad Uso handshake. Just like
right. That handshake is something.
They've been doing that for years. Did you
Have
see?
they?
Yeah. So there was a tweet that came out from WWE that was them behind the scenes. There was a small moment where the Usos and him were running together for something else. I want to say it was back in NXT. Usos came down and did a thing with him, and yeah, they're in the backstage, and it was the same.
Him and Jimmy,
same handshake.
Really?
I'm like, so apparently that's just been their thing.
I thought
years.
It was just something they did for this. That's funny.
But really great show. I'm with you. I'd give it a really good rating. Like I said, to me, every pay-per-view has to have that one down match. So whether I like the match or not, it's kind of needed to bring things down a little bit. 9 overall out of 10.
I would give it an 8 just because of how bad that match was.
Fair enough.
So bad. I really enjoyed the show. Like I have really enjoyed more WWE in the past few months than I have in 3 or 4 years.
It's great. Like I've never been wanted to overhype the fact that Tripp took over. However, since he took over, there are more times where I'm like, I can't wait to see what happens on Raw. And just 6 months ago, I was like, I can't believe I have to watch 3 hours of Raw. I
mentioned that to Grace. I said it's gone from I don't really care. I was more concerned about watching Dynamite on Wednesdays than I was Raw or SmackDown. And now I'm just like, sweet, it's Monday. Sweet, it's Friday.
Yeah.
Yep. Why did we change to premium live event? I have to add,
well, because you don't pay for it anymore. It's not a pay per view. The terminology is different.
Terminology is stupid. It's a pay-per-view. It will always be a pay-per-view, just like they were when you and I started watching them. I looked it up. It's 2006. 16 years ago was my rant.
It's a good rant, though.
God, it
We,
was so good.
we might have to recreate that for
I don't know if I can. I
a
don't know if I
short
have it.
or.
I don't know if I have it. It would take something pretty severe for me to.
No, I literally mean just recreate that one. Like, just start talking about that again.
I can't. That match has given me PTSD. Like I can't.
For those questioning, someday you'll have to hear the story of the Great Khali beating Undertaker. And
why are you trying to get me started now?
Why
are you trying to do it now? I don't have time for that.
Well, it's either that or I hit someone with a chair. One of those two things has to happen, and but
we don't have enough time to do this right now.
We
I have to go pick up a child.
We don't. We do need to wrap it up. So yeah, great pay-per-view overall. I definitely look forward to see what's going to happen on Monday.
The fact that we have 8 weeks till Rumble, I'm pretty excited about.
I am too.
We have the NXT show in 2 weeks, but that's it.
And the possibilities of things to come, like you asked where to go with Theory. I'd like to see him while his schedule is kind of open. He was talking a lot of crap before the show of, I don't care that this is where John Cena's from. I'm better than him.
Really?
I wouldn't mind seeing Theory and Cena at Rumble. I wouldn't mind seeing that at all. Or him or them at Mania.
I think it was Theory that was talking about Cena and him at Mania.
Yeah.
Was it Theory?
No. That was Logan Paul. Wanted him and Cena.
It was Logan Paul.
Which is the only reason I say possibly Rumble, because I don't personally think that's his dream match for me, but I understand it's a dream match for him. And for Logan. And so it would be
his dream match?
That's what he said. But I understand that would be a money match. It would bring in a lot of outside eyes.
Draw.
So
that'd be a huge draw.
I get that would make more money than him in Theory. So do him in Theory at Rumble. Have Logan do one of his, I think it's 6 appearances that he's contracted for Mania. I'm good with that. That's fine. But I wouldn't mind seeing a match between those two. I think it would be good, and I think Theory getting the win over Cena, and Cena being able to, because Cena could sell it. Like, if anybody could sell it, Cena could sell it. He comes back in and he hasn't wrestled in so long, and I'm rusty, and the ring rust is what gets him. So
my biggest concern with this is what Cena would do to Theory on the microphone.
I don't disagree.
Cena does not have the chops to get in there and bump his gums, or Theory doesn't have the chops to get in there and bump his gums with Cena.
Yeah.
Cena is still one of, for my money, I would love to see MJF and Cena on the microphone together.
Yeah.
That is a license to print money.
Yep. I don't disagree. And it may happen in the bid of 2025.
The bidding war of 2024.
Oh, 24. That's right. It's
24.
We may end up seeing that.
He's not leaving.
That's all right. So let's wrap this up. We will do this again sometime this week to talk Raw and AEW as well, and go over that
stuff. We still have SmackDown and last week's AEW if we want to cover those at some point.
Well, I think we're good. At least for the SmackDown. If we want to go over the AEW, I'm good with that. But SmackDown was just a lead up to the show. So
it was. There was not a lot. I made notes about it, and I'm just like, eh.
There was a couple of Bray things with him and LA Knight, but it's
Pete and Santos was a good match.
Yeah.
Hit Row Viking Valhalla. Why?
I'm good with a name change.
I'm not good with the makeup lack of change. And she need to put on some damn shoes. Ew.
Hold on. You got Solo Sikoa.
His feet are at least taped up.
I'm just saying.
I'm just saying, too. At least his feet are somewhat taped up. Her nasty-ass bare feet.
Neither are Riddle's.
Huh?
Riddle's not taped up, is he?
He wears shoes till he gets to the ring, at least.
Well, yeah, but the ring's the nastiest part of that place. You got people taking a crap in there all the time.
Why you got to bring Big Show up again?
No,
Look, Big Show, I don't subscribe to this hate on you, bro. I got you.
he took a crap backstage when they threw laxatives and enchiladas.
Ricochet Braun was surprisingly solid.
It was. I highly expected that at the end of this we were going to get Braun versus Gunther, and I was going to be very upset about that.
I didn't really care about the match, but it was a surprisingly decent match. The Braun loses because of Santos, which I liked.
Yeah.
Because of Imperium,
because of Imperium.
Which I really like, because we're obviously setting up for Braun and Gunther at some point.
Right. But if he can back up Ricochet in either winning or losing, it's still 3-on-2, even though
I agree.
Braun is 2.5 men in his own. But I would like to see Ricochet win it just to get the title back. Do a little bit of extra with him. If not, put him and Ali together, because that could be fun.
Yeah.
Or put both of them with Braun.
That would definitely, I think that would be, because Ali and Ricochet against
Marcel
Bartel and Fabian Aichner.
Yeah.
Because I'm not changing the name because those are stupid too. And let's just change his name back to Gunter or Walter, because nobody cares.
He likes it. I'm good with it.
Does he really?
Yeah, he liked it.
Ew. But that would be a decent 6-man.
Yeah, it would be fun.
My concern is Braun is not going to sell for Gunter. That's my biggest concern. Is Braun no selling him?
So I don't want him to no sell. Now, him playing strongman against him, I'm kind of good, because Gunther hasn't been on his heels.
That's fair. And watching him run away is, I'll give him this, watching him run away is mildly amusing.
Yeah. But just having that moment of, oh, crap, I've never had to deal with someone that size, that strong.
Well, it's kind of like, it's almost like a continuation, but a flip-flop of him and Braun and Omos.
Yeah.
Which I don't care about that guy
either. I've already told you what I think they need to do with him. I think Hurt Business needs to get back together, and he's just the enforcer in the back that doesn't talk.
Yeah. So we had that. Sammy KO we talked about with Jay seeing it, and then Sammy denying it. And then we had Ronda Shayna, nobody cares. Jesus Christ, does nobody care?
I agree with you. They need to stick them together. They win the tag titles. Shayna does the heavy lifting.
They need to put them together, and then they need to put them with somebody, because they need a decent mouthpiece. They don't talk. We don't need either one of them to talk. Shayna's not bad.
I think Shayna's good enough.
Shayna's not bad. But Ronda's so terrible, Shayna can't cover it, and they need somebody that can.
Yeah. Maybe when the bloodline blows up, stick them with Heyman.
I'd be fine with that, actually.
Yeah.
And then they had the main event, which was really well done.
Yeah.
Sammy throwing Sammy in with the belt so Sammy would get tossed and he could hit the stunner was pretty.
Yep.
So yeah, overall it was a go home show and it wasn't anything impressive.
Yeah.
We can cover Rampage later. I have to go pick up Grace.
All right. Well, you can go ahead and head out. I'll close it out if you want to.
I got a minute. She'll be fine. She can wait.
Okay. Well, so that's our show. Like, subscribe, all that fun stuff. Definitely catch us on the next one. Hit up on our socials up at the top or up that way. Backwards on camera. There we go.
It's above my head.
We have a wild Kai.
We have a child on the screen.
Child on the screen. So we'll see you next time. Come back and have some fun with us. Bye.